Hey, it's been 10 months since the Apple Watch Series 10 has been out. So let's see how it is 10 months later. Actually, this is the Series 4. This is actually the Series 10. Let's see how they stack up against each other. So I've been using the Apple Watch Series 4 pretty much since it came out, and I didn't upgrade it till the Series 10. Now, obviously the Series 5 came out and that had the always on display. Series 6 came out with the blood oxygen. Series 7 came out with faster charging and a bigger display. And so there were these incremental upgrades that I didn't feel like I needed. But when the Series 10 came out, I was like, okay, this is going to be like the iPhone 10, where there was a big redesign. It was going to be the future of, that was going to be the future of the iPhone, and this, Series 10 was going to be the future of the Apple Watch. And I didn't really get that. When you look at these two devices, they're very, very similar in their design. There's been some refinements and everything, as you would expect with each generation. It's not going to get worse. I didn't really feel like there was a need to upgrade. But then I was finding that my Series 4 was getting a bit slow. It was a bit thick, it was a bit chunky. I wanted a bigger display. Now this has a 44mm display on the Series 4. The Series 10 has a 46mm display. Now it doesn't sound like much, but it is actually a decent increase in the size. This is actually the biggest watch face you can get in the Apple Watch lineup. Bigger than the Apple Watch Ultra 2. And I have really, really enjoyed using the Series 10. I also really enjoyed the Series 4. In terms of the use case for them, I basically use them for a lot of the same thing, although I do use my Series 10 a bit more just because it's faster. So you've got the S10 chip in here. It's faster than the Series 4. It's not massively faster, but those few extra, loading something 3 seconds faster than this one adds up. This had the first S series dual core chip, and they've only improved that over time. But in terms of use case, I use this for a lot of the same things. So for example, I use this for paying when I go to work, on the underground, using Transit Express, where you just tap your wrist and you can pay. That's one thing I really like. I think this is, it makes paying for things really quick when you're out, which is also a dangerous thing as well, because it's too easy. And it's just on your wrist. But then obviously the main thing that I use this for, which I think a lot of people use this for, is for health. I love the fact that I can check my heart rate on it. And it's also got blood oxygen on here. There's a lot of features I've missed from the Series 4 to the Series 10. And I've actually found them really useful. I'm glad I bought the Apple Watch Series 10 because I'm getting all those features in one go. So I feel like I'm getting more for my money rather than incremental upgrades once or twice a year where I get if I upgraded to the Series 6, I would have got an always on display and blood oxygen, but I'm getting more with this one. Plus the Series 10 adds even more on top of that. I use this for Fitness Plus a lot. I wear my Apple Watch pretty much every day as well. Being able to connect to the TV, it also has a remote on here, so I can control my Apple TV and I can navigate on this, which is really, really cool. Also makes me really lazy because I don't have to get off the couch to find the Apple remote or the Siri remote. But yeah, I like that when this connects to Fitness Plus, you just select connect on your profile on the TV and it connects. It does the countdown on here. You can start your workouts on here. And it gives you your metrics like countdowns on timers, your heart rate, and various other metrics. You can even control Fitness Plus on here by playing and pausing it if you want to. So yeah, it's as an all-around package, it's really good. It also ties in with Apple Music. So if you like a certain soundtrack or a certain song or playlist or whatever, you can add that to your Apple Music library. One of the other things that I really like about the Series 10 is that they've added meditation. So you can actually start a meditation on the Apple Watch. It's not a video, it's just an audio kind of instruction.
Hey, it's Christian. You're at the Fitness Plus studio in Los Angeles.
The audio comes out the speakers, which is now a new feature on the Series 10. I don't know why that didn't add that earlier. I wish they had, but I don't know, maybe they would make excuses like battery life or whatever. But in all fairness, the speaker and the microphone on the Series 4 did kind of suck. It wasn't the best. I know people would like it just because they want to have it, but I know Apple will only release features just because they are, or Apple thinks it is best for the consumer. And when I did take phone calls on the Series 4, it was a bit, people couldn't hear me necessarily very well. But on the Series 10, people can hear me very well, and people come through on the speakers really well.
Yeah, do I sound clear to you?
Yep.
Can you hear the super clear? Can you hear the wind in the background?
No.
Or any cars, trees?
No.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm on the Apple Watch, so yeah.
But yeah, with the meditation, I can just do that. It will go straight into my health app, all the metrics for that. Checks my heart rate, gives me those details at the end of the meditation. Start it and stop it from the Apple Watch, all great. I love the fact that I can do it all on the Apple Watch itself. And again, having that bigger display has been really nice experience as well. I do want it to get even bigger, but I'll talk about my thoughts on future Apple Watches later in the video. The other thing as well with the Apple Watch in terms of design is that they've made it a lot thinner. Let me get the Series 4 here, just so you can see in comparison. It sits much more, it's much lighter on the wrist. It sits much closer to the wrist as well. So it looks a lot sleeker. They've also rounded the corners a little bit more. The screen kind of rounds into the actual casing. And it just looks nicer as a watch. There were rumors that I was going to get magnetic bands. That wasn't the case with this. I don't know if that's still something that's happening or not, but I'm partly upset and happy with that one because it would have been nice to see a new kind of band system that gives more room for the Apple Watch itself, like so they could fit more battery, for example. But at the same time, I've bought a couple Apple Watch bands, as many people have over the years, so those wouldn't work anymore. I know they're going to change it eventually, kind of like they changed the 30-pin connector with Lightning, and now they're changing Lightning with USB-C. One of the other features that I found that I really liked with this was the always-on display. So they use an LTPO3 display on the Apple Watch Series 10, which basically means that it can refresh the screen at 1 Hz when it's on the always-on display, reducing the amount of battery that it needs to use. And yeah, I really like having the always-on display. It's nice to just look at a glance. I don't have to kind of fully lift my wrist to see what the time is. I can just subtly glance to see what it is, and that's been a nice experience. One of the really cool features that I've enjoyed that is, in Apple's terminology, feels like magic, is the double tap. So basically what you do is you turn your wrist, once the screen's on, you can double tap your fingers and you can choose what you want it to do. Say for example, when you're on the watch face, you can either choose for it to show the notifications, or you can choose to scroll through your widgets on the Apple Watch. You can just double tap each time to get to the next bit, and it just works so well. 99% of the time it works perfectly. There have been times when I have tapped my fingers and it hasn't worked, but it's rare that happens. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. In terms of this being a Series 10 Apple Watch, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I was hoping for more. I was hoping for a bigger display, maybe like a wrap around the wrist glass display that was slightly wider, that gives you more kind of content to look at. I don't know if having that would cannibalize the iPhone sales and they would just not do that because of it. I don't know. They haven't been afraid of cannibalizing products before. When the iPhone came out, iPods kind of ceased to exist over time, and so I kind of would like to see a dramatic redesign with the Apple Watch. The iPhone are taking risks with a super thin one and then a foldable one, and the 20th anniversary iPhone is going to be this all glass display iPhone. So it would have been nice that they did something with the Series 10 Apple Watch. It kind of gives you a sense of what they think of the Apple Watch in terms of the future of it. I feel like they're playing it a bit safe, although it would have been nice to have the option of having this or having something a bit more futuristic, which people would have to probably pay more for, but people have shown in the past that they're willing to pay for, you know, more futuristic bleeding edge technology. Overall though, the Apple Watch is becoming one of those indispensable health products, you know, that Apple sells, that ties in with the health app on your iPhone. It collects all these metrics. It's got the ECG built in, it's got the general heart rate sensor built in, you've got blood oxygen, which Apple says is just more of a guide than an actual data of your blood oxygen, and if you're concerned, speak to your doctor. It's got the fall detection, so let's say you're an elderly person, you fall down the stairs, then it will automatically call emergency services. It's got crash detection on there. There's been countless articles where Apple Watch has saved people's lives, you know, where they've been out in the ocean and they've bought the 4G version where they could actually make phone calls from the watch without having a phone nearby. Obviously, it's water resistant. You can use this when you're swimming, whether you're in the sea or a swimming pool, doesn't matter. Wear it in the shower, you can wear it all day long. One of the things I actually almost forgot to mention was the battery charging on it. So this actually has fast charging, which I think they added in the Series 7, and that has actually been one of the other game changers with this. And so when let's say I'm on like 12% on this, I just throw this on the charger, I can put it on for half an hour and I'll be at like 40%, and then that's good enough to use for the day. The battery on this has been absolutely phenomenal. When I've had this fully charged, by the end of the day I probably had like 75% or something. I'm easily able to get through 2 days on a single charge on this watch. And that's with, you know, checking messages, sending messages, checking notifications, doing Fitness Plus on it, even if I'm making a phone call or whatever. Like, the battery life on this is absolutely amazing. And they've really optimized this. They have fine-tuned this so well. And I am looking forward to seeing the future of the Apple Watch. I just want to and hope that Apple takes more risks with it. So that's my review of the Apple Watch Series 10 after 10 months. Let me know if you have an Apple Watch, whether it's a Series 10, Ultra, or anything older than that, what you use your Apple Watch for. And because I'll be really interested to know. Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you loved it, give me a sub. Really helps out the channel. And thank you so much for watching. Peace.